did you know that annual leave in Nigeria is not a benefit, it's not a favor, and it's not something an employer can replace with cash? It is actually a legal requirement clearly stated in Section 18 of the Nigerian Labour Act, which is what we'll be looking at today. And it has direct implications for workers' health, safety, and organizational performance. So if you're a manager, HR professional, or decision maker reviewing your people policies for 2026, this section is one that you need to understand and understand properly. So today, while we're discussing Section 18 of the Labour Act, which is concerned with annual leave, I'll quote some parts of the law there and explain them, and let us see how they are relevant to the OH perspective. So this section states clearly, and I quote, "Every worker shall be entitled after 12 months continuous service to a holiday with full pay of at least 6 working days." The law also goes further to state that a worker under the age of 16 years, including an apprentice, shall be entitled to a holiday with full pay of at least 12 working days. So for underage workers, which are 16 years and below, they have 12 days. And for adult workers, it is 6 working days. Now, the wording "shall" in this law is very important because it means that the entitlement for annual leave is mandatory and not discretionary. The Act also makes it clear that it is unlawful for an employer to pay wages in place of this holiday, except when employment is being terminated. So from an OH perspective, this section is not just about time away from work. Annual leave is actually a fatigue management and mental health protection measure. When workers do not take adequate rest, we are bound to see higher error rates. I've stated this time and over again that inadequate rest causes increased workplace injuries, burnout, reduced concentration, and lower productivity. And this even becomes more critical in those safety-sensitive roles which I've mentioned before, like drivers, factory workers, healthcare staff, security personnel, and shift workers. In that sense, Section 18 is as much a health and safety provision as it is a labor law requirement. Now, in practical terms, this means that annual leave becomes due after 12 months of continuous service. The statutory minimum is 6 working days with full pay for adults and 12 for those under 16. Now, the leave may only be deferred by agreement between the employer and the worker, and even then, the law does not allow for that deferral to extend beyond 24 months. Importantly, employers cannot lawfully substitute annual leave with cash payments, except at the point of termination of employment. So the law knows how important it is to take a rest and to have a breather. Organizations that routinely postpone leave indefinitely or pay instead of granting leave are exposing themselves to legal and occupational health risks. Because again, we will see fatigue, increased errors, burnouts, and all the mistakes that can happen from lack of rest. As organizations prepare for their workplace and HR policies for 2026, Section 18 should be clearly reflected in annual leave provisions. Policies should define when leave accrues after 12 months. They should also set structured timelines for leave utilization, limit deferrals, and ensure they are properly documented. They should also protect high-risk roles from excessive leave accumulation. Well-designed leave policies do more than just ensure compliance. They reduce those errors, the burnout, and improve retention, support safety, and drive sustainable performance. So this is where OH input becomes essential. As an occupational health doctor, I support organizations in translating these labor laws into practical health-centered policies that protect workers while also supporting their productivity and business continuity. So in the next episode, we will examine another key provision of the Labour Act that is often misunderstood, but is very significant for workforce well-being. So if you have questions about your leave policy or broader labor law compliance from an OH perspective, you can drop them in the comments or reach out to me by DM. See you next week on yet another Workplace Wednesday. Take care and bye.